So good morning to all. Today we are going to start a new chapter in grammar, lesson number 4, the verb, kinds of verbs. So now before learning about verbs, we should know some basic things, okay? So now on the screen you can see there are two groups of words written, okay? The first one is saying playing is Ram with ball and it is not making any sense. Means these words are not giving us complete meaning. But when these words are arranged properly in second sentence, you can see the sentence is giving us complete meaning and it's starting with a capital letter and ending with a full stop. So Ram is playing with the ball is a sensible sentence. It's giving meaning to us. Now, with the help of these words and with the help of these examples, now it is clear that what is a sentence? So a group of words that make complete sense is called a sentence. Or we can say a group of words that give complete meaning is called a sentence. Now, rules of making a sentence. How do you frame a sentence? So these are the three rules. It makes complete sense. Means when you make a sentence, the sentence should be meaningful. Second one is it begins with a capital letter. Every time whenever we write a sentence, we start the sentence with a capital letter. Third is saying that it ends with a full stop. But it's not compulsory that every sentence ends with a full stop. It depends on the kind of sentence. If the sentence is exclamatory, it will end with exclamatory mark. If it is like interrogative sentence, then it will end with with question mark. So these are the three rules of making a sentence. Now coming on the parts of sentence. So already we have learned that a sentence has two parts. The first one is subject and the second one is predicate. So here you can see one example is given. A man helped the blind man. A man I have written in red color and help the blind man in green because I have divided my sentence into two parts. Now how we will find out that which part of the sentence is subject and which part is predicate. So what is subject? The person or thing we speak about is called the subject. Whatever we are speaking about in the sentence, that is subject. So here you can see we are telling about a man. Now predicate is what? What is said about the subject is called the predicate. What information we are giving about the subject, that part of the sentence is called predicate. So here we are telling something or we are giving some information about a man. So a man is what? Subject. And what he did or what information we are giving, that he helped the blind man. So this way our sentence is divided into subject and predicate. Now the subject and the predicate may each consist of a single word or a number of words. As in the predicate, there are 4 words. So it can be a single word also and it can be a group of words also. Subject and predicate, now comes objects. What are objects in the sentence? So words that are added to the verbs to complete their meaning are called objects. Means we are adding one or the other word to the verbs in the sentence. And then the meaning is becoming complete. Okay. So here you can see what I have added. I am after help the blind man. And the blind man is again a noun. Blind man means name of a person. So I have added a word which is an object. So object and subject, they are always nouns or pronouns. Now moving on. Now comes sentence structure. What is the structure of a sentence? So the subject is usually at the beginning of a sentence. Whenever we start a sentence, The sentence starts with a subject. And after the subject, what comes? Verb, and objects are placed after the verbs. So here in the example, again, you can see I have written the sheep are grazing in the field. Now I have divided the sentence in three parts. So we are talking about sheep. We are giving some information about sheep. So the sheep is what here? The sheep is subject. Now what are the verbs in the sentence? So the verbs are and grazing. Are is your linking verb and grazing is your action verb. And object is what? In the field. So here subjects and objects, they are always nouns or pronouns. Now after learning about subject, predicate, objects, we are going to learn about verbs now. So now we can easily define a verb, that a verb is a word which says something about a subject, and they are also called action words. Why they are called action words? Because action is done by the subject, and subject is what? A noun. So again in the sentence, the man killed a snake. So the subject is the man. What is the verb? Killed. And what is the object? A snake. So the man killed what? Answer is coming, the man killed a snake. So here in this sentence, the word killed says something about the man. So in other words, we can say that words are added to the verbs to complete their meaning. We have added a word to the verb and then only it is giving us complete meaning. If I say the man killed, the sentence is not giving any meaning. It is of no sense. Now coming to the parts of verbs, or you can say kinds of verbs. So the first one is transitive verb. Now what do we mean by transitive verb? A verb that requires an object to complete its sense is called a transitive verb. Example we'll see. The cow eats grass. Tom shut the door. So now when we divide the sentence again in three parts, the cow and Tom, they are subject. What are the action words shown here? Eats and shut. So when I speak about the sentence, the cow eats, Tom shut, sentence is meaningless. But I have added one word after the verbs. Grass, the door. And by adding these words, the sentence is becoming meaningful. Again, the subject and the object, they both are what? Naming words, they are nouns. So now these verbs express an action directed towards a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. Now, the action passes from the doer, means who is doing the action here? The subject. So the cow and Tom, they are doing the action. So it is passing from them to the receiver of the action. And who is receiving the action? Grass and door. So the words that receive the action of transitive verbs are also always nouns. So remember one thing, that transitive verbs can only be action verbs. Now, when we want to find out transitive verb or we want to find out objects in a sentence, what question we will put? We will ask a question what or whom to the nouns for finding objects in the sentence. Or you can say we will put a question to what and whom to the subject for finding objects, like cow eats what? So answer is coming grass. Tom shut what? The door. So now when we are putting a question to the noun or to the subject, we are getting one answer, and that is what? Object, and that is also a noun. So this is transitive verb. Now coming to the second part, what is intransitive verb? So when we talk about intransitive verb, a verb that does not require an object but makes good sense by itself is called an intransitive verb. What do you mean by this? With the help of an example, we can learn this. Birds fly. The sun shines. So here you can see there is no object in the sentence. Why? Because the subject and the verb are making the sentence complete. They are giving the meaning. We do not need any object here. So sentences which do not need an object but makes complete sense are called intransitive verbs. Now, verbs also tell what they are. Sometimes what happens, verbs tell us that what they are. Like, I am a teacher. I have a pen. So here you can see what are the verbs given here. Am, have, they are verbs. So the words is, am and are tell us that what someone or something is. Like, I am a teacher, I am a student. Okay, so they are called being verbs. So now being verbs, what are being verbs? Is, am, are, was, were, be, being and been. Is used for singular, am for I, are for plural in present tense, was again singular, were plural in past. Again, what are has, have and had? They are also verbs and they show possession or belonging. Belonging, like here I have written, I have a pen. So whose pen is it? It is my pen. So this pen is belonging to me. So has, have and had, they show belonging. Again, has is used for singular, have is used for plural, and had is used for singular and plural in past tense. Okay. Now a new thing is added, and that is complements. Okay. What do you mean by complement? So first we'll read the examples. Then I'll explain you what are complements. So examples are given. The old man is tired. The teacher became angry. So according to the subject structure, according to the sentence structure, again the sentence has three parts. The old man is subject, is verb, and tired is again one more word. Next, the teacher subject, became verb, and angry, which is a word, but tired and angry, they are not nouns. They are not objects. They are words. Like angry is what? It's an adjective. So here the verbs is and became. In these sentences, they do not make complete meaning. If I speak the sentence like this, the old man is, the teacher became, it means sentence is incomplete. I have to add something to this sentence to make it meaningful. Now the word which I am adding is not an object. Therefore, these verbs are not transitive because transitive verbs always have an object. So, in these sentences, some words are required to complete the predicate part of the sentence, and such words are called complements. Or we can define that a word required to form a complete predicate is called a complement to the verb. So in these two sentences, the word tired and angry is a complement to the verb is and became. So this is what about complements. That's all for today. And